Hello and happy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the new episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. BoomStick XL. My goodness, folks, I'm almost at back to 100%. This weekend was freaking amazing. Outside of being, having a chance to meet people that are right now in the chat in real life, our IRL, as the kids like to say, was amazing. Shout out to BT Maverick, who hung out with us for a bit, and he dropped a massive super chat. Shout out to the Black Viking, man. Where he's making some big strides where he is in Microsoft. I'm so proud of that man. And again, he dropped also a very generous super chat. We will get to that momentarily, but what a weekend for games. No matter what console you enjoy, there were games for you. But man, did the Xbox team show out this weekend. And as you can hear my voice, it's not fully recovered. I did take yesterday off to kind of recharge the batteries. I honestly was jet lagged, and I still feel a little bit out of sorts because obviously a 6 hour flight up front, a 5 hour flight, 2 days later, it was a lot. But you know what? I got a chance to meet so many people from this community. Got to hang out with so many of my friends and other podcasters. And listen, what can I say? I got a chance to meet Sarah Bond. Oh my God, she was so welcoming and so down to earth. Holy freaking cow. Trust me when I tell you, folks, there's been some talk about, they kind of sidelined her. Nah, fam, I'm here to tell you, I heard from the woman's mouth herself, she has just put her head down into workspace, and her team are just grinding and trying to make the best Xbox platform that they could make. And man, I got to tell you, I'm so excited, so proud of her. And you know what? Her having, being front and center at the, at the showcase was exactly what I needed to see. But it wasn't just, it wasn't Sarah I just met. I hung out with Aaron Greenberg and the best beard in the business, Jason Ronald, two amazing people. And I got a chance to run into Phil Spencer and talk with him. And, let's just say there was some talk behind the scenes that has me so excited for Xbox. But listen, enough about me. Jamie Moran, how are you feeling, kind sir? Welcome back.
Hey man, I'm happy to be here. It's been a great week. I complain all the time about there not being enough sci-fi games.
You got them in spades, brother.
This past weekend, I'm very happy. From Expanse to Call of Duty Black Ops 7, like I'm very happy. Overall, it's been a great week. I say this a lot, but if anyone complains about the state of gaming right now and that there's no games to play, then they need to find a new hobby because there's something for everyone. I mean, the JRPGs alone, let me tell you, I did a live stream of the show. I was standing about 4 feet away from my microphone, and I think my neighbors heard me. Like, I was loud during that showcase, but we'll get into it. I'm happy. As an Xbox gamer, I'm happy.
Yeah, you know what? And I said this before, and I don't want to sound like I'm capping or anything. First of all, if you're an Xbox only, you've won. You've arrived, you've shown out, you've shown up, and you are getting value. But if you're a gamer and you support everything, you are the champion of gaming justice, because there is not a corner that you could look around that does not have a game that you want to play. And I agree with Jamie. If you can't find a way to be happy about this weekend, then you are in the wrong business. Umbra, my brother from another, how the heck are you? How is Chi-Town? It is raining. It looks like Seattle here in New York right now.
Well, it's pretty decent here in Chicago. It is 70 degrees right now. Yeah, 70 degrees is going to be nearly 80 by 4. So, yeah, we're good. Good to see you all, man, and chat with you again. Looked like you had the time of your life out there, Boom.
It was freaking amazing. Like, honestly, it started. I landed actually 40 minutes early in LA. When I hung out at the airport waiting for Kate Sante to get there. And from the minute we got to the hotel, it was nonstop. Like, honestly, like that And again, as you can hear, I'm still struggling with the voice a little bit, and I didn't even say anything yesterday. I kind of just hung out with Mrs. Boom, and we talked, but I didn't talk like I was talking on a podcast. And it's still not back, bro. That showcase had people, anyone that's here in the that's in the chat right now, and BT Maverick was there. We got to hang out also. The people, the gamers were going crazy, announcement after announcement. I almost lost my voice that day. You can hear me on most of my stuff. Anyone that recorded it, you heard me. It was, oh my God, it was so good.
I imagine being there in person gives a certain different kind of energy. Like you,
I sat next to Greeny, bro.
Yeah, I believe you can receive things differently, right?
Oh man,
I will say, like, I thought the whole weekend from the State of Play to Summer Game Fest to Xbox, I thought all three shows were good.
Yeah,
personally.
Games for everybody, brother. Every ilk. There was something for everyone. Yeah.
I loved a lot of what I saw out of all. I mean, the good thing is that most of them are on Xbox at that too. So everybody here should be rejoicing. I mean, I'll be able to play everything, of course, but I just know, like, seeing that it's not a lot of restrictions when it comes to things that can come to the Xbox. That was good to see. I we have a lot of goodness that we got this weekend. I'll say that in general. So I'm really happy with what I saw overall. I do have my thoughts and my scores and such like that for everything.
We're going to get into it because, folks, if you didn't know, and again, I usually give you the skinny before we even introduce anybody. What we're covering today is we're going to do a recap of course, the Xbox showcase, and then we're going to get into more specifically. Second half is going to be about the handheld. I know I didn't get a chance to actually get hands on. And that's honestly my fault. I didn't actually put my paperwork in for any of the play days because getting to LA was kind of like a last minute thing. We were going and then we weren't. And then I got talked off the ledge by Kay Asante. So I could have gotten into pretty much everything I wanted to. I just didn't put it in. But I am going to say, the Iron Lord's got a chance to get hands on, Cognito more specifically. And, you saw Destin Legary's report on it. I saw a lot of people talking about this handheld. And I got to say this, second half of the show, folks, we're going to get into it because that handheld, folks, is just the beginning. And it is a game changer, literally and figuratively. Has changed the game. And I'm going to tell you this right now. This is just the tip of the spear of what's Xbox is cooking. And again, there's some stuff I can't talk about that I know behind the scenes. I can tell you that everything that we heard, get ready for next gen. It's going to be a big deal. And I'll tell you this right now, because of that, like you, Umbra, even though I'm not going to be a PCMR kind of a guy, I won't have to buy a PlayStation 6, and I won't. I will not be buying a PlayStation if I can get what we're getting on this handheld, on the console, because I will buy everything from Steam, and I'll get it at a discount. And I'm telling you right now, what Xbox did has fast track what Sony's going to do with their games. You think that it's just going to be console launches only, and they're going to drag their heels with with day and date? You're wrong. But we got to get into the actual showcase. And look, I didn't get a chance to tell you guys when I did the live stream from LA. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. Is it a 12 out of 10? No. There were some games that were missing there that did not lower the score initially for me. That I really kind of wanted an update on. But for what it was, 9 out of 10. Solid 9 out of 10. I think that's a damn good score. I think that they showed up and they showed out. Like I said, I have the same. So, of course, I want to give credit where credit is due because I am using their story. I pulled this list of games, from complete list of games from GameSpot.com. It says Xbox Game Showcase 2025, all the biggest announcements, and it's by Darren Bonthurst. And of course, this was posted on June 8th. I will add this to the show notes, so if you want to click it and read it, you can go read it. But I'm going to go first to Jamie Moran. Jamie, this show was I thought that the way that Xbox showed up was big, and they did answer all the questions. Again, to start, it had a bit of a disadvantage to it because of last year, right? They were going up against what happened last year, and last year is probably one of the best shows of all time. And I got to tell you, Tina Amini and the team and all the teams, all the developers that Xbox first party and their partners that worked on this thing, my God, they really showed up in a big way. Like I said, we'll talk towards the end of this conversation what your game of the show was. Mine hasn't changed. I actually had to split it. I could not pick one or the other. But wow, Jamie, let's get your thoughts on the showcase, because again, as showcases stand, and this is not trying to be biased or console war-esque, this is probably the best show of the year so far. No doubt about it. They had so many games. And of course, a lot of first party that showed up looked insane. A couple of surprises in there. We got a chance to see Double Fine's game, which I think is going to be a hit. It just has that Tim Burton-like feel to it. And when you look at Tim Schafer and his team, they're very artistic like that. I don't know what this game is. I know it's a lighthouse that came to life, but again, it has this creepy-esque, type of feel to it. I'm very excited for it. But again, big time show out by Xbox. Let's get your thoughts on the actual showcase, your highlights, your lowlights, and your score.
For me, I love the show. For me, when it comes to a video game showcase, it's all about the surprises. I absolutely hate going into a game showcase and having everything leak. Thankfully, this didn't happen this year. This isn't Xbox 2016 where it all leaks the day beforehand. I was pleasantly surprised. And, one of the first few games they showed off was High on Life 2. I was blown away by the first game when it came out in 2023 or 2022.
Yep.
Love that game. Hilarious, over-the-top first-person shooter with Metroidvania elements, and it looks like they're going way overboard with the same kind of stuff this time around, and I'm there for it. And it comes out this year. Like, they kept that game secret. I have no idea how. So like that game looks fantastic. Let's see. I have a big list here. Blood of the Dawnwalker. They showed off gameplay for that. It's made by CD Projekt Red developers. I'm already there. They could have just showed me a still frame of the logo and I would have been sold, because of the developers. And I love what I see. If you're a Witcher fan, you're pretty much gonna like that. Super Meat Boy 3D. I never thought about having this game in 3D would ever be a thing, but I'm happy it exists.
You didn't know you needed it until they showed you, and now you need it.
Yeah, like I never once thought, oh yeah, but this ultra difficult game that made me want to rip my controller in half could be in a third dimension. So this time I get to be crap in 3 dimensions, which is really cool. And the new game still does that thing where it shows you all your previous runs. So that's going to be hectic. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that. And it's also launching a Game Pass. Beast of Reincarnation. This is made by Game Freak, right? Game Freak have been ripped apart for years for making games that look like they could run on a Casio calculator, right? And this game looks phenomenal, right? This is what Game Freak can do when they don't have to pop out a new game every 18 months.
I couldn't believe that was from that team, honestly.
Yeah, and the thing is, this was announced about 4 or 5 years ago with just a logo, right? It was just like showing some trees with the Game Freak logo on it, and it's finally here, and it looks really good. It just goes to show that developer, they've got it, right? Nintendo, the Pokemon company, they push them too hard. Imagine if they do a Pokemon game like this at some point, right? They know how to make a good game. This is that. Grounded 2 didn't leak. How the hell did Grounded 2 not leak? And it comes out next month, right?
Yeah. Early access. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I've been saying for years now that Obsidian is Xbox's best purchase. And 3
games this year.
Yeah, 3 games.
And think about that.
It's ridiculous. 2 RPGs and 1 survival game. Like, absolutely nuts. Their output is crazy.
6 games in 7 years since their purchase, Jamie.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's see. Planet of Lana 2. Never thought that would get a sequel, but love to see it. Solo level and JRPG looks really good. Let's see. Persona 4 Revival.
Yeah.
No, I predicted this was going to be shown anyway, but I'd love to see it. It is a huge leap above the original, which was built for like the PlayStation 2 and then the PSP or whatever,
Yep.
or PlayStation Vita. And by the way, I think Persona 4 is absolutely amazing. So, like, if this is going to be people's first game, they're in for a treat. Next up, the Final Fantasy stuff, right? As I was saying before, like, I was live streaming, reacting to the thing, and my neighbors heard me when Final Fantasy 7 was announced, right? I thought I actually blew out like a vocal cord.
Jamie, don't come to you in the house yelling "Cloud."
Yeah, I was absolutely nuts.
It's crazy because you talk about going nuts. Look, I'm a diehard Final Fantasy VII fan. Like I can say I've told you the story before. Back in the days when it came out on PlayStation 1 in Japan, I beat that game with my good buddy back then. His name was Mike, and we beat it using FAQs. We printed it out on the printer. It was crazy. And I beat it again, and it's probably in my top 5, top 10 games of all time, right? But like Nerds and Other Legends, shout out to you, brother. It was great to meet you in person. BT Maverick. There were quite a few people in this chat that were there. Bro, the crowd erupted. King David put the hands up like this. He was running around. It was so loud that Greenberg just jumped out of his chair and started recording. He was panning around. I'm getting goosebumps, folks. You had to be there. It was so electric. And I know, okay, PlayStation fans already played it, had it. Awesome. But the Xbox fans, I mean, everyone in that audience, again, go watch it. I have it on the fan reaction on my channel. It was electric, bro. Oh my God, Jamie.
Yeah, like I lost it so bad that I got a text off one of my friends in real life saying, "Jamie, are you okay?" Right? So, like, I was clearly excited, and it's coming this year finally. Funny thing is, I put out a video. I remember in December 2019 saying Final Fantasy VII remake coming Xbox ? Well, here we are years later.
Here we are years later.
So I was right eventually, but you love to see it, and this is the most requested game on Xbox.
Yeah,
like the most requested, and then 16 afterwards with the shadow drop. I predicted the shadow drop, but I think a lot of people could have predicted that. But yeah, love it. And by the way, Square Enix gave me a bloody review code.
Wow, good for you, dude. That's awesome.
Thanks. Like, do you know how many times I've complained about Final Fantasy not being an Xbox, and like that was nice. And by the way, Final Fantasy 16 so far, bloody good. Not gonna lie,
wow.
It is amazing. But yeah, all the games that were shown were great. I mean, the biggest thing for me from the showcase was actually Clockwork Revolution. I've been wanting this RPG since they first announced it. It's a AAA steampunk RPG with time manipulation powers. Right? We don't really get things like that often. And I loved what I saw when they first debuted it 2 years ago. And this year, it looks even better. Deep customization options. Deep RPG. This is In Exile being able to make what they want with money from Microsoft. In the past, In Exile, they've absolutely struggled to try and get money to make video games. Now that they have Microsoft's money, it's not an issue. And they are one of the best RPG developers in the business, but they've always been held back by the lack of funds. This is what they can do. The first-person shooter combat looks incredible. The detail in the game looks incredible. You have multiple different paths that can, the world changes based on like small and big choices. It looks so good in action. And, it doesn't have a release date, but honestly, I don't really care as long as it's good when it comes out. They can take as long as they want. So for me, that was like the game of the show. I think overall, Microsoft knocked it out of the park. I think there were some games there that I was shocked, or some games that I thought would have been there, like Contraband. I thought Contraband would have been there in some capacity because it was announced 4 or 5 years ago. Indie games like Replaced and Exo Mecha. I thought those games would have been there, but I think Microsoft knocked it out of the park. I think not having Gears of War ED not there was a bit disappointing, but at the end of the day, like if you look at last year's show, that was a 10 out of 10 show. That was the best gaming showcase in my opinion ever. And like this year to have a 9, a 9's a damn good, right? Microsoft, they saved the summer showcase season this year again.
Yep.
And like I'm happy to be an Xbox gamer. I'm happy to cover Xbox. They actually have things to talk about. It's been wild, and obviously we're going to talk about the handheld in a bit. But Microsoft, they knocked it out at the park. I'm excited for all the games coming. There's a nice variety of games coming, which you love to see, and you know the partner titles, the Game Pass titles. There's so many big titles coming to Game Pass. Oh yeah, I left this out and I forgot. There's a game coming out called Mudang Two Hearts.
Oh, dude, phenomenal! Looks
Like,
really.
You know,
good.
I thought that was Splinter Cell, right?
Yeah, so a lot of people thought that was Splinter Cell because it kind of looks like it. But I've been talking about this game for about 6 months on Twitter, and it's been called Project LT or something. And it, you know, third-person shooter stealth game that's right up my alley. And if Ubisoft isn't going to give us Splinter Cell,
I'll take it.
this company is, right?
I got excited as hell at first until I started seeing this girl with the blonde hair. I'm like, wait a minute, ain't no damn Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
And then I saw the Super Soldier. I'm like, oh, that's okay. It's not Sam Fisher. All right.
Yeah, and by the way, has anyone actually read the description of this game?
No.
Read it for us, Jamie.
So I'll try and find it now, but basically, it looks like you play as a K-pop star that turns into a secret agent.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so
He's a K-pop star.
yeah, so like it's very different, but like in a world where we don't get new Metal Gear games, we don't get Splinter Cell ever, Ubisoft. This is going to be, you know, very good for people, and I can't wait, man. Overall, 9 point. You know what? I'll just give it a 9 out of 10. Great show, and you know, I think, you know, if this is just a taste of what Microsoft's got coming,
Oh yeah, dude.
I mean, I can't wait. And plus, like, you know, if you have Obsidian that can pop out like 50,000 games in 2 years, you know, I think that, you know, you look at Ninja Theory, they have multiple teams working on different games. You have the Coalition, which are apparently working on multiple games. Like, I think if you're an Xbox fan and you can step back from the whole, like, you know, we talked about multi-platform games and being upset about multi-platform crap. Like, as a gamer, I'm satisfied. You know, we have the biggest JRPGs on the planet coming to Xbox finally. So, like, as a consumer, as a content creator, I'm bloody happy.
Indeed. So I just got a DM from Paris Lilly, who I got a chance to hang out with over the weekend. He's going to be joining us momentarily to get his hot take on it. But Umbra, a 9 out of 10 from Jamie, 9 out of 10 from me. I think it was a damn good, solid showing by Xbox. I mean, most of the games shown are on Game Pass. I think there were a couple of like really big moments. For me, it was the Invincible versus Everyone. I lost my shit.
That looks pretty
I
dope.
probably lost my voice as well. And the Final Fantasy VII stuff, like when Cloud jumped down, the crowd erupted. Again, there was a lot to get excited about. There were a lot of games shown at Game Showcase, and again, it wasn't better than last year, and I didn't think it had to be. Again, for me personally, there were some updates that I was hoping for. I was hoping an update for State of Decay 3. I was hoping for some information on Forza Horizon 6. I was hoping any Halo information at all, and but we did kind of get that, because again, if you go back and you listen to what Phil Spencer said, he basically confirmed that Gears, Forza, and a long-running franchise are making their return, i.e. Halo, are coming next year. The Trinity will be celebrating the 25th anniversary of the platform with new games. So next year is gonna kill. But let's talk about this showcase. Your score, your standouts, for your personal picks of the show, and what you overall think of the actual showcase.
So there are a few things. I hate to say that I'm not in alignment with you all on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the show, but they made some choices that I did not care for.
Okay, that's fair.
And there was some exemptions that I felt should have been there. Now next year is going to be crazy. I'm already telling myself, hey, don't go pay pig this time and keep your money so you can go and go to LA, right? Because like you said, 25th anniversary, we're definitely going to see Halo, we're going to see Gears, E-Day, we're going to see Forza, we're going to see Fable, we're going to see all these things, State of Decay probably, et cetera, et cetera. But not having Everwild, not having Contraband, not having State of Decay 3, and not seeing any of those or hearing anything about them or Halo or Gears definitely left a bit of a void for me. Where I was like,
I mean, that's a fair criticism, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have shown at least Everwild something. When they showed the Game Freak game, I was like, could this be it? You got the mystical reindeer that she started, a person started chopping up, whatever. I'm like, okay, no, that can't be that. Game Freak. I'm like, no, that's not that. So, yeah, just those exemptions, those missing kind of took a little bit of them for me. And also I would say the final thing they did that I'm getting the bad out of the way first, if you all just to get it out of the way.
So it's your time, brother.
The final thing was them showing Call of Duty the way they did. It's like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Because everybody that was watching it in the watch party, and I'm sure everybody in the chat would agree, when we see that, you're like, oh man, wait, could this be Quantum Break?
Yeah.
You start seeing the Doctor Strange-esque world he turns into. It's like, oh, okay, wait, could this be like Alan Wake? Like 2, 3? Like what is this, right?
I actually thought it was Alpha Protocol, to be honest.
You see what I mean? Like our minds start going everywhere. And I know that was the brother from Heroes, by the way. So I'm like, okay,
actor.
Yeah.
I was like, is that Peter Petrelli?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay. Everybody's hyped. You see the butterfly. I'm like, see butterfly effect. I'm like, Quantum Break, right? Like,
yep.
Call of Duty, Black Ops 7. I'm like, oh, thanks. Now I say that only because, mind you, this is my perspective. I know everybody loves Call of Duty. I know you're a Call of Duty mark, for instance, right?
Yep.
Me, I'm not a big Call of Duty fan, right? So I'm already kind of like, Now I will play through the campaign because I want to see what this trippiness is about to be about. And to its credit, it's a co-op campaign, so that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah,
so maybe somebody can carry me or something. I don't know, but Call of Duty is big. I just felt like, why not put that earlier?
That could have been in the middle.
Yeah,
in the middle.
You know what should have been at the end? And Jamie already said it was the game of the show.
Clockwork
Revolution should have been the end of the show. It was that damn good. That was the star right there, clearly. Like seeing all the time effects, seeing them to go through history and time and pulling the bullets back through. It was like, oh, this is dope. Rewinding things and pulling structures up to block, give him cover so he can, stop people from shooting them. Seeing the RPG element, seeing all, that you actually picking the words and having a person talk. It's not just read dialogue. You can see in Exile, it's in their bag right here. And like Jamie said, they have the budget to actually bring that vision forward. And it's crazy good to see it. To be fair, we all knew Clockwork Revolution was going to be crazy when we first saw it. Like we all saw it. It was very clear.
I agree.
But seeing it actually play out and see the gameplay, you like, yeah, this game is going to be spectacular, right? So those things, all of that. So I got that out of the way.
Okay.
Part of the issue I also had too was this, and Colt kind of highlighted this. Now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, so I'm going to kind of end it on this. Some of the things where you kind of getting updates, I know they have to do business, but it's like
you're talking about like Fallout 76.
Exactly.
So yeah, Sea of Thieves. I mean, I know they have to be there.
Online.
Yeah.
I feel like you can show that in the, I don't know, after a little side show or blog or something. Those things, I feel like those are just kind of padding. So, but let's look at the good stuff now.
Right.
Outer Worlds 2 looked great.
It looks phenomenal.
Having a surprise like Planet of Lana 2, which I love the first Planet of Lana.
So
excellent. Solo leveling, seeing that. The At Fate's End looks spectacular. I don't know what the combat style quite is, but it looks unique. I like the art style as well. Super Meat Boy 3D looked dope.
Yeah.
Super excited about that. I used to love Meat Boy. Persona 4 actually showing up as many people predicted. The remake the remake, I think for that's a remake. Dawn Walker, like you pointed out, Jamie, looked spectacular. I mean, what
Beast
else?
of Reincarnation looked phenomenal.
The reincarnation. But for Dawn Walker actually having the former Witcher devs on it, you could see the DNA all in it in the game.
It kind of looks very Witcher-esque. Yes,
it did. Combat was probably better animated than The Witcher, maybe, but you could see the DNA of it. Had no idea what in the world There Are No Ghosts that the Grand was, but it looked intriguing enough.
It's so weird. I want to play it just because it's that weird.
I didn't know. I'm like, am I cleaning up a mansion in the city? And then all of a sudden she started solving puzzles and putting lines that like, oh, this leads to this. And I'm like, I'm doing a mystery now. What? Am I Scooby-Doo in the gang? What's going on? Chronos we had already seen. That looked really good though. Aphelion, that looked dope. The space faring game, that looked like it's gonna be dope. Invincible Versus, as you said, boom, looked spectacular.
Blew me away.
Cell shading visuals, whatever that it was, looked dope as hell. Seeing Resonance, a Plague Tale. Now that was another problem because they had already shown that the other day. Resonance, it was shown the day before at So that one's like, it was like, okay, cool. We saw more of it here, but whatever.
That one kind of that one was kind of a banana in a tailpipe situation. I thought it was Rise 2.
It kind of did look like Rise, didn't it?
When I saw it, I literally was like, oh my god, are we getting Rise 2?
Yeah, it did kind of look like it. I will admit. And then of course seeing DLC for Indiana Jones, that's cool. And the Keeper from Double Fine. That was finally good to see what they were doing with the Kyun that we knew about all along, and it's finally coming out. So that was cool. And then of course to top it off, I guess the coup de grace, the handheld. Now we've already known about the handheld too. I wish that we hadn't known until this point. That would have probably been like a real heavy hit right there, right? I wrote on Twitter the other day, like I'm a big ROG fan. I'm often talking about it with my boy Black John in the chat of ROG Goons. I love the ROG ally. So now I'm going to get rid of this one to get that. At first I was like on the fence, like, but I'm like, well, it's got the Z2 in it, Z2A Extreme, A1 Extreme. Yeah, this is a crazy good upgrade. And I was talking to Kay, of course, about this and going over some things, and we had already talked about this before, which is that like Strix Point APU and things like that. This is close to or tied to that, right? So he gave me some game on that. So definitely going to upgrade to this, and I'm going to have to sell this one off. So I love that they have this unified like UI and everything that takes people, because a lot of worries for people were, I don't want to have to deal with Windows. So they kind of solved that.
See, that device that you saw and how it's set up is exactly what I need in my life. Like it's everything I could want, because I'm not a PC guy, and it's going to get me right to the games. And if I decide I want to do something else, the option is there, but I don't have to.
That's true.
That's why I'm buying this.
And also, of course, having the fact of us being able to play all throughout, from Steam to GOG to Epic, having all of that streamlined right to the experience where wherever you buy it, it's there. You can pull it through there and play it. Dope. Yeah. And of course, the ergonomics with the controller feeling like the Xbox controller on the sides. Beautiful work. Overall, it is a bit bulky, but I can deal with that. I'm going to have it plugged up anyway to get the best. I'm going to be fine. I can't speak for everybody else's arm. You better start lifting and get your arms like Paris or something. But other than that, I thought it was a great show.
What's your score? What's your last score?
Last year was a masterpiece.
Last year is 12 out of 10. Very hard to replicate for sure.
And I think all of those things combined, and I think having such an expectation of what they did last year kind of gave me. I probably expected too much. You know what I mean?
Probably all.
So
did.
Because of that, I came to a 7.5, and I wanted it to be a 9 and all of that for me. And I could probably be convinced of an 8. I'm on a line of 7.5 and 8 for me, but 7.5 is where I landed.
So 7.5 for you, 9 for me, 9 for Jamie. I absolutely agree with you that there were some things that were missing. I do always feel, and again, you said it, I think they have to do the business of Fallout 76. They have to do the business of, ESO. They have to do the business of, Sea of Thieves. And those games are important to their business. but I agree with you. I think they could be done at a separate show where this should just be games that are new and coming out, updated for games. And again, I still think it was a 9, but I do think there was some fluff there. And I said it on my live stream from LA on Sunday afternoon. I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get an update to Halo. I was hoping to get something updated for Gears of War E-Day, and that's okay. We got Gears of War Reloaded. It looks great. The multiplayer beta is dropping in a couple of days. That's very exciting for anyone that's going to get down with multiplayer. I was hoping for something of an announcement for Forza Horizon 6 and where that was going to be. It does seem, and I don't want to say like wait for next year, but it does seem that their plans for 2026 are going to be bombastic. And they really wanted all of these games, the new Gears, the new Halo, the new Forza to be a big part of that, simply because it is celebrating the 25th anniversary. And that is the holy trinity when you talk about Xbox.
That's why I say next year I think is going to be crazy. And now I want to give one qualifier too.
Sure.
I already own Final Fantasy 7 on PC, played through 16 already, so I'm happy as hell that those are finally coming over, especially 7 remake. Been 5 years in the making. I know everybody is geeked. I saw a few people like, oh, I got the full Final Fantasy collection now on Xbox.
Yeah, the Xbox platform is the only place that you can actually get every Final Fantasy.
That is dope, and it's about time they finally did that. So a lot of my perspective, so just for anybody who's like, oh no, Umbra, don't say 7.5. Keep in mind that all of this is coming.
You're allowed to have a score.
But it's all coming from the perspective of things I've already played, things I had already seen.
Right.
Some of the stuff they showed we already saw. And I guess the handheld, we already saw as well. So that's where it's coming from for me. I would have liked more surprises, but what they did show did have me excited enough that I look at it like their roadmap is crazy good. We got I think they announced 4 different games. Oh yeah, I forgot all about Grounded 2. Forgot to mention that. Super excited about Grounded 2. That looks damn good.
And that's the 3rd game from that studio this year.
Yeah, Obsidian.
That's
I
6
agree with
games
Jamie.
in 7 years since they've been acquired. Umbra.
That studio that Microsoft has picked up outside of course, ABK studio. I got to give them credit. I mean, there's plenty of money they're making from. But as far as workhorses, you can't ask for much more than that from anybody you picked up. Also, I'll just say this last thing. It'll be fine and fun to actually take the bugs and ride on top of them instead of running terror from them. So because I already told Risk It, hey, we're gonna jump on this, but as soon as those spiders start chasing your ass, you are on your own. Because I don't play that. I'm not Spider-Man. You will be though. Get food. But yeah, well,
listen, those spiders are again. That's why they have the blobs, because a lot of people are afraid of them. But listen, I like your score. I like the way you broke it down. But we got to bring in the one, the only Paris Lily. Paris, my brother. It was so great to hang out with you, Rihanna, Danny, the community. You got a chance to get hands-on the handheld. Obviously, you were a big part of the community fan fest that was there because you were up on stage and you were one of our, one of the guests. Let's get your insight, your thoughts on the showcase, man. Maybe he is not back yet. Okay, so we will.
Let me try to imitate his voice. Yes, Boom. Let me stop before you want to see me in LA next time.
Yes. Okay, hold on a sec. He is. He said, "Whoops, 1 second." I guess maybe he's got to change pictures. We got to fix his mic, but we'll get.
I saw him towering over everyone. I'm like, oh, he's out there scaring.
He's a big human. Yeah,
he's very tall man. Everybody out there. I saw him. I'm like, I bet nobody's showing him disrespect down, are they? I saw it.
I love it. Yeah, no. Anyone that was talking S probably wouldn't do it in front of him because he would slap the shit.
You hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird.
Brother?
My voice meter wasn't translating over. I had to switch directly to the mic. But as I was saying, I was like, good morning to all of you. Hope everybody's doing well.
Yes, Paris is great to hang out with you, meet you in person. Let's get your thoughts on the showcase, because I know that you got a chance to get your hands on the actual ROG Xbox Ally or the Ally Xbox, and obviously that we can segue into that after you're done talking about the showcase. What are your highlights of showcase? Lowlights, highlights, thoughts, theories, opinions?
Well, first, let me just say, because you started saying it at the top, the highlight of just being at Summer Game Fest was the community fan event.
Yep.
And seeing what Ben and Hargeet and everybody did to put that together, and just being a small part of that, being able to kind of, open it up with Danny, Rihanna, and Khalif. And, we just kind of gave our perspective on community and, content creation, all that stuff. And the fact that Aaron Greenberg and Jason Ronald were there, along with some other people from Xbox, decided to, attend as well. I thought that was big. It's always, like I said at the event, it's always great for the in-person things. That's why we do all of this.
Exactly.
And I'm just, I felt like I was up there rambling at one point, but I'm glad everyone had a good time. And it was just a lot of fun. I was very impressed. Like I told Ben Sunday night, hey, this was version 1.0. You'll get lessons learned from this. You'll have more time to plan. The one that you do next year will be even bigger and better. So really excited to see what they'll be able to pull off. Now, as far as showcase goes, again, it was great to have that energy while we were watching it. Everybody, I got Hip Hop Gamer right behind me, grabbing me every 2 seconds when they were showing a game.
That guy has enough energy for 10 people by himself.
Oh my God. But that's why I love that dude, because that is genuinely who he is. And I always love him for that. But yeah, it was great to be in the crowd to see all that. So I said before the showcase, like a week or so ago, I was like, yeah, this is going to be another 9.5, because look, all the stuff that we know about plus stuff that we don't know about, they're going to have a bunch of great content, kind of half jokingly. And then we got the showcase, and then I quote tweeted and I just said 9.5, and I started seeing the chaos on social media, because it's social media, so I just muted it and moved on. Yeah. But I don't truly believe it was a 9.5. What in a perspective, what I feel is like, I was lucky enough, I got to have a conversation with Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, and Sarah Bond Sunday night, and we were talking about it. And what I said was, this was solid. It was a solid showcase. It was virtually impossible to follow up what you did last year. That's like a once a decade kind of showcase that you're going to be able to pull off, right? And Umbra, I heard all that you were saying, and I totally get it. I also feel like, where the hell is Everwild? Just for the simple fact that we don't know what it is. I want to see it. I'm kind of okay not having Contraband just yet, but I think this showcase did two things. You got a solid stream of games that are coming this year in 2025 that you're going to be able to play. The majority of them, I'm excited to get hands on and play, right? And then what Phil said at the very end is important, and you guys already alluded to that. Don't forget, next year is the 25th anniversary.
Yes.
It's the 25th anniversary of Xbox, the 25th anniversary of Halo, and the 20th anniversary for Gears of War. So next year is going to be a celebration of Xbox. So it kind of makes sense, if you look at it from that perspective, that no, you're not going to see that stuff in this showcase, because they're going to treat 2026 as a big celebration of Xbox, right? That's why you're going to get a Forza next year. That's why you're going to get, I'm assuming, a Halo CE remake, obviously Gears of War, E-Day, Fable, things like that, because they're going to celebrate their tentpole IPs in the 25th anniversary year. So I get it. I understand people have expectations this year. Why didn't you see this? Why didn't you see that? But they're kind of saving it because they're going to be able to just go all out next year with that. So I get it. Now, the other part of this, and we can transition to the handheld if you want. I understand what this is an Xbox is after the showcase and after getting hands on with the the Xbox Ally X and all of that, because like it or not, grab your pitchforks, do whatever you personally want to do. They are now putting games on multiple platforms. And the one thing I was talking about with them Sunday night is I was very happy to see that they had proper branding of all these games. You knew what platforms they were going to be on. You knew if they were going to be in Game Pass. You knew if they were going to be Xbox Play Anywhere. They were very clear, because one of my big critiques of Xbox for a while has been communication, that I think they could have done a better job. And I thought they were pretty crystal clear with that this year, that yeah, you're going to play it on Xbox. This game will be on PlayStation. This game could be on Switch. You can get this one on PC, Game Pass, all of that, right? So you know where you get to choose where you want to play your games. This is where Xbox is headed. I understand not everybody's on board with it. I'm still a little like when we see Halo on PlayStation, I'm still going to think it's weird. But that's just me. But
yeah,
the point that I'm making on that is you get to choose now. They're making about player choice moving forward. So if you want to continue to play on Xbox, do it. Play on PC, do it. Play on PlayStation, do it. It's up to you how you want to interact and play these games. So bringing that to the Xbox Alley X, yeah, I got hands-on with it. I got to sit in a couple different presentations for it. So I got to see all the changes that they're making to Windows, right? To you literally, because my big critique for a while has been why I prefer the Steam Deck, Steam OS. I press the button, I'm instantly presented my games, I can go play them. You weren't necessarily able to do that on these Windows handhelds, right? There was, it would force you to go to the desktop to update it, do all this tinkering. The button controls and joysticks couldn't control everything, it was cumbersome. So the presentation I was on is they're addressing all of that. They're making it, when you turn it on, you're instantly in the Xbox app. You have access to all your games, Game Pass, your entire library, all these things. Everything can be controlled with the joysticks and the buttons, right? Typing in your passwords, navigating through all the menus, all of that. You're never forced to leave that Xbox app to access your games. The one thing, because I had additional conversations talking with Jason Ronald about this, the one critique that they still admit they need to figure out is, okay, you're going to be able to add Steam, the Epic Store, GOG, all these things.
Yep.
But right now, you will have to leave to a desktop experience to go install those things. So then now they're synced into your library. They still want to figure that out. They also want to figure out when you have to do Windows updates that it's not kicking you out of that experience, so that unless you want to go tinker, unless you choose to leave the Xbox experience, it is always just there for you front and center. So that's why they didn't want us taking videos and screenshots of all that because it's still a work in progress. And they obviously, even when the Ally X comes out, they're going to continue to iterate on it. That's why it'll be into 2026 before you're going to be able to have that experience on other devices. If you want to build a PC, you want to run your Legion Go X, stuff like that, because they want to make sure they get this right first, which again is why I think the rumors about them not doing their own handheld or delaying it or pausing it makes sense. You got to get the Windows experience right first, because clearly this is where Xbox is going for their next generation hardware. You're seeing the alpha.
The iceberg, man.
You're seeing the alpha version of that right now.
Yes.
But with all that said, getting hands-on with it, it felt really good in the hands. It felt very comfortable in the hands. It wasn't too heavy. Felt good. I got to check out both the Alley X, which is the black one. I also got to check out the white one, which is the Alley, which is, the 720p version. Felt good holding the hands. I got to play Gears of War Reloaded. Got to play it a couple times. Gears of War Reloaded on there. It was good. Performance was great on it. No issues at all. Controls felt good on it. I'm bracing for impact when it comes to price on all this stuff, but I like what I see so far. I know there was, some words because I've been at Summer Game Fest, but I was made aware of some controversy of the fact that I said this is going to lead the way for the future of handhelds, and I stick with that because the limitation of Steam OS is Steam OS. You're on Linux. Windows opens up so much more, multiple digital stores that you're able to access all at once. Anti-cheat, so you can play Fortnite and Destiny and all these things. Call of Duty, because you can't play Call of Duty on the Steam Deck right now on Steam OS. Stuff like that. So this just opens up more player choice, more options to you if they're able to properly optimize this, which from what I've seen and what I got to play so far, this was a great first step towards that. So I'm excited for it later this year, to see that. Like I said, price is going to be the big barrier to entry to getting this. But I think the strategy of partnering with Asus, let's get the Windows experience right. Let's work with them to get the hardware for what we think works for our player base. And then you can expand that beyond to other vendors. And obviously, we're going to get to a point where you can just build your own. You can install it you build a PC, you install Windows on it. You can have that experience on your own desktop PC as well. So like I said, this is where I think it's going. And one other thing before I forget, what I loved was when you're in the Xbox Experience Library, they already showed, you can bring in you can clearly see your Steam games, your Battle.net games, GOG games, right? And you can play them directly from there. The two other things that they're doing, or the other thing that they're doing is right now, on Steam OS, you have Steam Deck verified, right? So you know it is optimized for a handheld. They're going to have a similar badge for that on
nice.
this Xbox Ally X as well. So that's something else that they're working on. So again, it was so funny being able to talk to that team that a lot of the things that we talk about, they're talking about it too. They know. It's like they already know. So when we got to that presentation, they're just going down the checklist of things that us as gamers want from a Windows handheld that they've either already implemented or it is on the list to get implemented. So I was pretty excited about it. I was pretty pleased with it. Like I said, just overall with the showcase, I thought it was solid. A lot of good games. I mean, obviously Clockwork Revolution, I think, stood out the most from that, from games that they showed there. It was funny. I got a chance to talk to Matt Booty about all the games that, like, why are you cramming all these games into October, right? And I'll just say the highlight of what he explained is they just got too much. They can't keep pushing stuff back and all around. At some point, you just got to go. And that's why you're seeing all the, like, they got a 3-week period of games coming out in October, right? And it's just, we got to go. We got to put them out because they have so many plans for 2026 with games that you don't want to just keep pushing it, kicking the can down the road, so to speak, right? So great conversations, with Xbox leadership on, where they're trying to take Xbox. And, they understand that a lot of us on the outside looking in see some of these aggressive changes as very weird and, like disruptive to
polarizing to some people that do have this very high mark for brand loyalty. And if you're upset, again, if you're upset, I'm not going to fight against anybody. I understand why you would be like you, Paris. I've come to the middle of the road. Like, okay, this is what they're doing. I would have never done this, but I understand why. But you know what? Game Pass. I'm still winning.
Yeah. And let me say this, because like I said, I saw the really dumb comment that came out yesterday that I guess I don't look at this stuff, but I guess went all over the place. I do think Xbox Game Pass, play anywhere in the cloud, is the future of gaming. You may not like that I think that, but that's what I think. And I've yet to be proven wrong.
That's the reality.
I think,
I've yet to be proven wrong.
What you're saying is absolutely the truth. But just the thing on it I want to add to you and ask you and then everybody else is for the Steam and I guess GOG and Epic Store, all those type of implementations. Couldn't they have it where it's implemented and you click on it and it just opens up the app for Steam like you would, in general? Maybe they could do it that way.
Well, think about this. I know what you're saying, but what they're doing is they're saying you don't have to go do that. They're saying you can stay in the Xbox app.
Right.
There will be a badge on that game. Clearly, let me just a random example. I have Hades 2 on Steam. Hades 2 would show up in that Xbox library labeled as a Steam game. I would click Hades 2 and I'm just playing Hades 2. Now, this is where I say again, it is up to you. If you want to launch Steam or launch the Epic Store or whatever to interact with that game, you'll be able to do it. But now it's going to pull up a desktop mode. You're going to have to go through it that way because you'll be able to essentially go into Windows and treat it like a Windows desktop, which again, and I think obviously this is news is out there, but that's the other thing in the presentation. They are turning off unnecessary resources when you're in the Xbox experience. So the desktop, as an example, is turned off. And the non-essential resources that aren't prioritized for gaming, they've already freed up 2 gigabytes of memory by doing that. So you would imagine that performance is going to be better as well in Windows. So they understand that better performance, power management, all these things that they're trying to optimize and get ready, obviously, by this holiday, when that hardware comes out. Because again, people need to remember this optimized Windows Xbox experience is only going to be on the Xbox Ally this holiday. It won't be until 2026 where you'll be able to see that on other devices.
By the Paris, just to throw it out there for everybody, this one, pricing, as you just mentioning the pricing, because that is going to be really important. Yeah. What would you guys say? Because this is a Z2. This is not a Z1. Z2's right now.
I'm thinking like
Z2 Extreme with an NPU chip as well. So it's doing it. The X1 has an AI chip as well. I'll just say, and I didn't mean to cut anyone off because I'd said this to Jez earlier. I'm bracing for $899
Holy
and
shit.
$699.
Wow.
I'm thinking you're right. That's exactly where I'm at.
I was thinking
wanna know-
$7.99, but $8.99. Wow.
for you. What about you, Jamie? What would you say?
800.
Yeah,
I think-
see me. I'm
I think it's
$7.99.99, $800. That's my thought.
The only way they can come under that is if Microsoft subsidizes it.
Yeah,
I
That's
doubt
it.
that's going to happen though.
I don't think they are.
I
I
don't
think the
think they are either.
subsidizing of consoles and hardware that's yesteryear, man. That's
Yeah.
not happening.
Here's what I think. I think there's a better chance that the 720p with the white one gets a little bit of subsidy to it to lower the
Okay.
price on that. But I think the X, I don't see it. I can see that being $900 to $1,000.
That's going to
And
be
and I don't say that wanting it to be that. I'm just
Right.
trying to be realistic
Nobody
about it.
wants to pay $1,000 for a
it's going to
handheld,
be
but
the enthusiast
Yes.
device, basically. If you
Yeah.
will. Yeah.
a
I agree.
hardcore device. Because honestly, you could get that. You could probably get the white one and be fine with it. I'm not getting that. I'm going for the black version, the X version, because I want all the power possible.
Hey, well, I just want to say,
So can I say
always,
this too?
always bet on black. I'm just going to throw it out.
Yeah. So if I can say this too, just going back to Gears of War Reloaded, because like I said, I got to play it on the Ally X, but I also had a session where we got to play it on the Ally X. We got to play it on the original Rogue Ally as well, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. And Danny and I, we got so into it because he was on the PlayStation 5, I was on the Xbox, and we were just doing co-op. We got so into it that they literally had to kick us out. They're like, this isn't a preview event.
Oh
You
my
gotta
god,
go.
that is so cool, dude. I
Because
love to hear it. Love to hear it.
I'm telling you, I'm sure you've already seen some of the stuff that's been out there. The visual upgrade, because they were showing the comparison to what it looked like in 06 to what it is now. You know, our brains don't make us realize that's how blurry it looked back then. But to see it now in 4K, running, high frames, all that, it looked really good. And I'm telling you, it's funny to think if Gears of War, the original, if it came out today, just as what we played, it'd sell like hotcakes. You would have like, oh, this game is so amazing. That's how fun that was to play Reloaded. So I'm really excited for August when it comes out. All the crossplay stuff they're doing with PlayStation and across devices and everywhere with Play Anywhere and all that. It's going to be great. I will predict right now that Gears of War Reloaded will be a big seller on PlayStation 5 because I think we're going to get a lot of people that are going to be playing it for the first time and they're going to get hooked.
I wish I'd have did them all that way. Part 2 and 3 had done them that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, like when they came out with
Can't
Gears
say.
of War Ultimate Edition in 2015, like this is what we have now. It's 4K, it's 60, it's got all like the extra bits and bobs. Like it's a remaster. This new one, it's a remaster of the 2015 remake. But I played this last year, and the thing that was holding it back was it was 30 frames per second, and it was 1080p. And when you play that on a 4K television, it's not that
looks
good.
a little
It
like
plays
blurry.
great still, but like we were basically before the Xbox Series X came out, we were showing this like little clip of Gears of War Ultimate Edition running in 4K, but it was like it was test footage and all that stuff, and we never got that update. So like Reloaded is essentially a next gen port of Ultimate Edition, but it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Paris, again, it was great to hang out with you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I don't know if you want to hang out because we're going to continue the conversation regarding the handheld, and we're going to move on to Mr. PCMR himself, Ally Umbra, as it were. So, Paris, again, if you can hang out, brother, that's awesome. If you got to bounce because you got other,
I did have some more questions for him on the handheld.
No, go for it. I got a few more minutes. I can hang out for
no. That's awesome. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Umbra. Umbra, obviously, I want to get your thoughts, your theories about the handheld, the reveal. But I'd like you also to pose those questions to Paris. Maybe he can answer a few questions that you have for him.
Yes. Now this is our second topic, right? Boom. I didn't want to derail us if this wasn't the second.
No, it's the second topic. So
okay,
go for it, brother.
Okay, so aside from pricing, we know what that's going to be. We kind of have an idea for that. We have an idea for availability. Now, this is obviously, like you said, it's leading to the future of where they're going with the whole play anywhere, having all the titles. It is beautiful that Xbox gamers can troll again after losing some exclusivity, where they can say, "Hey, I got your PlayStation games on my Ally," right? So that's funny. But when would you say they're going to roll out the whole OEM situation where they're going to allow for this, basically this Windows, I guess Xbox UI to be rolled out into other devices to implement it the same way that the Ally is doing here?
Yeah, they said I was told the target is 2026.
Maybe the end of it, because I would imagine
I don't know
has a year,
beginning, middle, end. They just told me 2026.
Okay, because I'm thinking maybe they'll have at least a year of exclusivity at the very least, being a partnership. You're right, I would think, because one other question. Now I saw some you had IGN Live. I'm only bringing this up because I know some people were like, some people didn't seem that excited about it. Some people saw IGN Live and they were like, the people look, they cheered at first until they saw ROG, and then they stopped cheering, which they did. But to me, it signaled confusion. Do you think that maybe part of the revisions that they need to do here with the ROG Ally, and that's another thing too, the naming. You said it the way I say it, which is Xbox Ally X, and I just shortened it to XAX for short. But do you think maybe they need to make sure that they get that naming right, as well as maybe, because I kind of saw a ROG symbol there and thought, why not put the Xbox symbol there, or at least the Xbox name or something next to the ROG, so people won't be confused, because people look confused to me in those audiences.
Couple things. So when we were in our session, Asus was there as well. So they gave us a whole presentation of the partnership and how all this went down. You have to remember, it's a partnership specifically with Asus, so they're going to want their branding on their hardware. It just makes sense, because at some point in time, Lenovo's going to do one, MSI is going to do one, etc. Right? They're going to want their branding on it too. So even that Xbox button, it was originally pitched like, can we have a circle, the normal round circle X on there? And Asus was like, that's not how we make our hardware. So that's why you see it that way. So I get your question, but yeah, they pretty much answered it. That part of the partnership is that their partners are going to want their branding, as a part of this as well. I mean, the name doesn't really bother me, in the simple fact that it's going to get shortened now. Hey, just going to call it the Xbox Ally or whatever, pretty much. And you're going to see other ones come out eventually as well, as far as hardware partners go. So, this is what it is.
I guess if I had to ask on anything else, do you think Microsoft would possibly only allow for certain builds of a device to put that UI into the UX for the the user experience?
I don't know. It is Windows 11 Home, the OS that's running on there, but it's Windows, so I would assume this is just simply something that you would roll out as an update. And if you're just a normal desktop user, you would have to just go in and enable, if that's what you want. I don't know. There's still a lot of conversations that need to be had about that, because I've already requested to do that later this year, because there's still some unanswered stuff.
Okay. And I know it was like a kind of a super secret thing where they had you guys, certain select people, go back there and I guess play with the device, or if you will. Yeah, well, I guess,
let me say this. Let me say this. I want to go back to something you said about IGN Live, and I saw the little stupid meme about all that stuff. It's like, to your point, it's something brand new that people are seeing. So there might have been confusion at front. Don't let social media cloud you. And if you give me just a second of grace here, I want to address this, because Boom,
please.
The fact that we were in person together,
yes,
this kind of highlights the point. Like I said before, the in-person social media is not real life. It's just not. People put on a character online. Yep. People are very different in person than they act online. I see BT Maverick in the chat. I got to meet him. Great guy. Loved conversations that I had with him. I even got to meet one of my haters in person. And when I did, the energy was completely different in person. Oh, no. It's not like that, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, then why do you do that then? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when you see people do these stupid memes and the clips and the screenshots and all that, it is a cry for attention because they don't act this way in real life. When we're at that community event, when we're hanging out at the JW and all that, it was all love. There's no drama. Everyone's just having a good time. We're talking gaming. We're celebrating all that. Look, PlayStation people hanging with Xbox people, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria, because that's how it should be. And that's how it is in real life. So to your point about that clip that came from IGN Live, whatever. You know, that's just a moment in time that someone's just using it to get attention with.
Is this a thing? Is this going to be a reoccurring theme where you bully people who come to LA and they cower?
I'm not a bully. I'm not a bully.
He's a gentleman of a man. I can assure you.
Yeah. That's the whole point again.
Is that what it is?
No, it's not. No, it's not that at all. It's my point is when you meet people in person, it's because I did talk to this person. I'm like, really? So you give me a bunch of grief online, but then you're telling me that's not real. Yeah. So then why do you do it?
Well, yeah.
What was their answer? I'm actually curious to that.
The answer was essentially, I see other people saying stuff, so I'm just adding in my 2 cents, for lack of a better term.
Okay, that's pretty stupid of them.
Keyboard cowards, I like to call them. Sorry.
Well, I'm joking, of course, with the bullying. I know you're a gentleman, but I'm saying only in the sense of your presence makes them like start to correct their attitude. But
as
it is funny. It seems to be a reoccurring thing. It's just kind of funny. I did see you towering over everyone in people's images. I'm like, look there. I'm like, I'm on his side, and I still might be like, "Hey, brother, how are you?" I'm on your side already, but yeah.
No, but to the point. I know you're just joking, but just to that point, there's none of that in person. Everything is hugs and love in person, as it should be.
It was awesome, man. It was again. It's the excitement. It's you know what it is. I think everyone at these live events really do shed their console skin, and it's just about people and the games. Like, no, yes. I didn't see any conversation, not once. And I talked to hundreds of people to the point where I nearly lost my voice doing it. Like I tell you, every night I was downing the Airbornes and the Echinacea and vitamin C to make sure I didn't get sick. My voice was, by the time I got back to New York, my voice was nearly gone. Like it was gone. That's how many people I talked to. And of course I was very excited and I was very animated, like hip hop gamer I couldn't match his tenacity if I tried. And King David, everybody that was there. It was
New York energy right there. You're going to have
it was a lot of fun, man. It was again, it's like right now, we was, Jamie actually said it, Paris and Umbra. As a gamer, I don't know how you can't be excited about what just happened. Either of the shows, for that matter. It's just something there for everyone. And like I said, the cherry on top of the sundae was this handheld. And like I said, the handheld, if you are, and I'll say this to everybody in the chat, and which, by the way, 1,723 people watching this show live. That is complete madness. Obviously, we have a good bunch of people, 1.2K on Twitter watching live. So thank you to everyone that's there. If you're not subscribed already, folks, hit us up and help us get to 17K, because that is now the next trek. And of course, over 500 people watching live on YouTube. We do appreciate it. But I mean, listen, again, this handheld is for people like me. Like I said, the PCMR already do this with their Steam Decks and their Lenovo's and their Legion Go's and everything like that. But because this thing is going to essentially be an Xbox handheld and you never have to leave that screen, this is why I'm going to buy it, because it's exactly what I want. I don't need to tinker. I don't like that. I'm not a PC guy. I never will be. But this thing is just a step in the right direction. And I got to tell you, when I say the title of the show is the ROG Ally Xbox has literally changed the game forever, it has. Because again, what this is a preview for is what their next Xbox is going to be. I don't know what the PlayStation 6 is going to be. If I had to be a guessing guy, I think the PlayStation 6 is going to be incredibly powerful, and it's going to have everything you know and love about a PlayStation. Here's the problem. It's going to be a PlayStation 5 with incredible, massive power. So it's going to be the PS6. I don't think they're going to have an open source box. Xbox is doing that. And when they do that, for me, if this box is as powerful as Sarabon says it's going to be, I won't need to buy a PlayStation 6 because I'll buy all my PlayStation games on Steam. And I have now become a Steam customer, which I am currently not.
But see, if I could say one thing on here, and I'll gracefully exit. I don't want to take too much time from your show. To your point about that, I know it's online. People like to console war and do all that stuff, but it's really three different approaches to get you to play games, right? Nintendo clearly has their approach. PlayStation has their approach, and Xbox has obviously pivoted into this approach of player choice, multiple devices, all of that. There's no right or wrong answer. It's what you want to go do. At the end of the day, that's what baffles me more about anything, that you see people constantly arguing back and forth about this, writing 20-page AI novels online about which one is better. Neither one is better. They're whatever you want it to be. It's your money. You spend and play what you want. Yeah. I trust me. I love PlayStation. I'm on PlayStation all the time playing games because there's games on PlayStation I like to play. There's games on Xbox I like to play. I got a Switch too. There's games on the Switch I like to play. I got a PC. I play on everything. But it's what I want to do.
Right.
Same with you or anybody in the chat right now. Play where you want. If you don't like Xbox's approach, then don't play on Xbox. Go play on PlayStation or vice versa. It's up to you.
Great point of view, man. Indeed. Great point of view. But Paris, brother, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day. I know that you got to be wrecked because you were there a day after I was, and you.
I was in LA since I was working two weeks straight, traveling. Literally got off the plane, went to Summer Game Fest on Friday, and I just came home late last night. So yeah, and it doesn't end.
I bet.
Summer Game Fest was spectacular, by the way, for me. Like I said, so many good games that are coming to Xbox. I'm not even just looking at Xbox's showcase. I'm looking at Summer Game Fest. Heck,
everyone had a really good show. There was something.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like everything we saw largely is going to everything. So, I don't think you could be any happier, honestly. And what Paris was secretly signifying to our Xbox guys is once you get this Ally X here for Xbox, get all the PlayStation games and rub it in their face. No, I'm joking.
How dare you, console war, sir? How dare you?
I couldn't let him leave clean. I couldn't do it.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, Paris, enjoy the rest of your day, brother. Catch up with some rest, man. Go get yourself your batteries recharged. I did a really good gym session today. I feel really, really strong, and I'm glad I took yesterday off because I was a wreck.
No, yeah. Get some rest yourself. Again, it was great to see you. Yes, Umbra, I heard you. It sounds like you might be trying to come next year.
He better be there. We need to see this man.
Definitely hoping to come next year. I know it's going to be crazy next year. It's going to be a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's going to be great. All right, well, thank you, gentlemen, for having me on, and have a great rest of the show.
Yeah, brother, thank you so much again.
Get some rest too.
Catch you later, man.
All right, so Umbra, anything else you would like to add to the handheld conversation that you weren't able to either ask Paris or you didn't talk about already?
I'm trying to think of a few things. I think maybe Jamie could probably come up with something because a lot of what I'm asking here, we've had conversations in the Discord. The biggest point is the price, right? Like that's the biggest sticking point. I think we all kind of come to a conclusion that it's going to be pricey. I wonder how many people, Xbox folks, would be willing to jump onto that. And then I have to wonder about next gen. How pricey is that going to be?
And those are really phenomenal questions. I would imagine that if the price wasn't going to be sticker shock, like Paris had said originally, we would have known the price already.
That's true.
I really think they would have been like, okay, this is, because we know it's coming out this year. I would imagine that it's going to be coming out in the fall holiday. Makes sense, right? You put out a new piece of hardware. It's a lot of people are going to buy it. People are spending money during the holiday. It makes sense, right? We don't know what the price is. You think 9. Paris thinks 9. Me and Jamie are on the same board. We think 8. Let's get the chat involved in here. Chat. First of all, you know what? Before we bring in Jamie, let me just catch up on this ridiculous amount of super chats, Jamie. I apologize. There's a lot. I was trying to, again, obviously, we got to make room for Paris because to him to be here is taking time out of his busy day. let me catch up on Super Chat, Jamie. Then we're going to get your thoughts, your theories about this handheld, and then we'll get everyone out of here. So the first one of the day comes from someone I met in IRL. He was amazing. He drove 6 hours to kind of hang out with us, and that is BT Maverick 707. Gentleman of a man. He drops, ladies and gentlemen, a $20 Super Chat and says, pleasure meeting all of you guys at FanFest. Boom, Corkenstein, C Money. His kids were there also. They were nice kids. Hargeet Chani, of course, Web Dave, and our top tier community that put everything together with their hard work. It feels like a big extended family. And thank you to everyone for the awesome experience. Yeah, it did feel like we were just hanging out with family. It was like one big family affair, and it was so much fun. The Black Viking, our generous friend. I got to tell you, I miss his live streams. He drops a very generous $20 Super Chat, but you know what? He did something big, and he's obviously working for Microsoft, and I couldn't be more proud of that man. When I tell you it's anyone more deserving than Black Viking, I don't know if I could come up with a name. He's a gentleman.
TV, if you're still listening, need your Microsoft discount for these handhelds.
Yeah, send me a coupon code or something, brother.
Shout out to BT Maverick too.
Yeah, absolutely. He says, miss you, my friend.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's right. He says, miss you, my friend. What's up, gang? The Xbox Ally is going to be awesome. And I think he knows better than anybody because, well, he's boots on the ground, ass in seat when it comes to Microsoft. Our generous friend, Day Reezy, drops a very generous $2 Super Chat and says, can you imagine getting deleted by a former pop star?
A K-pop star, yeah.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Mac22 in the chat, who's been a channel member for 9 months, says FF is just so happy. PSN people can no longer flex about it. Hashtag PAB. I mean, look, if you already own Final Fantasy 7 and 16 and if you played them, maybe this announcement isn't for you. I played 7. I bought 16. I'm buying 7. I can't wait. Now, am I going to buy 16 out right out of the gate? No. I have too many games to play right now. It'd be literally just throwing my money into a furnace. But Final Fantasy 7, when that comes out, and that's winter, that's stop whatever I'm playing. I'm playing this game, and I'm buying it. I cannot wait.
I'm just happy that it's all over here on Xbox now, and of course,
me too. It's
happy
nice
for everyone that wants to, play it on this.
Indeed, absolutely. If you want to play it now, you have an opportunity to do so, and everything else that Square releases from now on is going to be here, there, and everywhere, including Xbox. And Sony can't do nothing about that, which is awesome. We have Do UK now. The Broke Boy Insider drops a very generous $2 Super Chat and says, confirmation Hollow Knight Silk Song is this year as well. Yep, because that's going to be on the handheld. That is awesome. House Flan, who's been a channel member for nearly 2 long years. Salute to you, kind sir, for the generosity. He says, show had 3 scores for me. Gamer score 9. Xbox fan score 8. Personal score 5. I'm a picky gamer. Not many games in show for me. ROG Xbox is a must buy. And you know what? Brother, if that's how you feel, awesome. You cannot argue that. Those are really good scores. And the 5 for you personally, that's an okay 5. You explain why. Not every game is for every gamer. So if half the games shown are not your ilk, well, then it's a 5. That's a great score.
Who sent that in, Boom? Who was that?
House Flan.
House Flan must be a Gemini. All those different scores like that.
I mean, listen, but it comes at it from a very very specific point of view.
Way.
I like it. I like it. Aris EMS or Aris _ EMS has done what he's done many times before, folks. He has gifted 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. That is very generous of you, as always, Aris. We super appreciate the generosity and consistent support. LMNOPO drops a very generous $5 Super Chat and says, Clockwork, Final Fantasy, and the handheld equal 9 for me. Remember, Xbox will have more announcements and possible shadow drops to come until the 25th anniversary. Yeah, and we were talking about that because, again, I didn't hear this from anybody Xbox, but the games that we did miss, there's Tokyo Game Show, there's Gamescom, and then there's Keighley's event.
Yeah.
So there are some other shows that could reveal some of these things that we did miss. But some of the things I complained about, it's not really complaining. It's just pointing out, I wish they were there for this reason, and I wish some other things that really didn't need to be there were moved out. I get why the show the way it was. We also have Do UK now. The Broke Boy Insider drops an additional, very generous $5 super chat. He says, Music 72 made fun of me, but I did read it in an article that early next year, the new Xbox Ally OS UI will be available for current Ally devices. Yeah, I definitely 2026. I think that UI is an exclusive for right now for them. I mean, listen, they want to sell the handheld, right? They made this to sell. They're not going to just drop the UI and say, okay, if you have an Ally, go. That's going to happen next year. We also have Dave Reezy drops an additional very generous $2 super chat and says, Paris, catch haters in the dark alley and give them beatdowns. Yeah, I mean, again, Paris is a big man. That's a big old man right there. And it's funny how I call these keyboard cowards, because I'll backslap the shit out of somebody too if they came at me in person or not. That's not a problem. Like I said, I like to fight. I just choose peace.
You telling me you'll be handing out pimp slaps? Boom. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, if they want to be a bitch, then yeah, absolutely. What can I tell you? Some people are just, really ugly people when they're sitting behind their keyboards and behind the screen, and they're very meek and very low key when they're out in the real world. And the things that they say, and some of the things that have been said to me, have been nothing short of gross and even somewhat harassment. And I can guarantee you the person or persons that have said those things to me would not dare. Because I listen, I may not be parasized, but I'm 210, 6 feet. And I work out on 4 to 5 days a week, so I can hold my own. And again, when you hear Paris, people come up to him, there's a whole different story. It's because people are cowards. But I don't want to throw us off track about that. The internet is going to be the internet, but it is what it is.
I got to say, I'm just thinking of the pimp name for you now. My mind works like that. So I'm thinking.
Well, you know what? If you come up with one, please, by all means, drop it into the chat. Let everyone laugh at me. I'm
thinking of the dialogue and everything. Boom. Does Boom Boom have to slap a fool? What you say to me?
Oh, man, they don't call me Boom for nothing. Right?
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway, let me continue. Elemental drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Sony announced their own wireless arcade stick. I'm buying that. I am buying that for the Marvel game. That's not even a question. At their State of Play, 8-Bit Ditto has a wireless one for Xbox. Is it good? I have it here. I have actually 2 of them from 8-Bit Ditto. Those are great controllers. So they do have an Xbox One. I have very big hands. It's a little small in my hands, but I am gonna say it's a really good controller. It is absolutely a great controller. But that wireless stick from PlayStation, I'm not even second guessing. When that comes available for pre-order, I'm buying it. I think it's probably gonna be about $200, but well worth it. We also have a new channel member, Calorie. Hey, thank you so much for joining the channel. And of course, he has been a channel member for 11 months. He says, was an honor meeting you, Boom. And that's very nice of you to say. And it was an honor to meet you as well. Thank you for being genuinely a nice guy. Ally X 1 terabyte right now is $8.99 on Best Buy. So I expect that price or more. Yep, you see, he's not wrong. The Ally X currently is $900. So this thing is probably going to be at least that. But you never know. King Webb in the chat drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Sup, Boom? Tell Umbra UZ2 on the Xbox ROG Ally X." I don't know what that is, but it could be.
I'll just say yo ho ho.
Okay, well,
indeed.
So Day Reezy has nicknamed me Boom's new nickname, Backhand Boom, confirmed.
Backhand Boom. Does Backhand Boom need to slap a fool?
Yeah, I mean, listen, sometimes people need to get, I had the tagline since I was a kid, step up to get beat down. That was my tag for the online Super Nintendo when I used to play Street Fighter online, step up to get beat down. And I've had that. If you go to my Xbox account, it's still that tagline is still there. I've been using it since I was a kid. Because I like to fight. I just choose peace.
I feel like we leaving Jamie out. I'm sorry, Jamie.
No, Jamie. Jamie, again, we got to get you in here, brother. Let's get you.
Name elusive. You can't touch me. I'm elusive, baby.
Oh my goodness,
that's your pimp laugh, Jamie.
I love it. I love it. Oh wow. So, Jamie. I don't know if I can continue the show. I'm going to lose my voice. This is crazy. Jamie Moran. All right, but besides the elusive pimp, let's get your thoughts and your theories on the handheld, because again, there was, first of all, again, shout out to Microsoft and the team. Nothing leaked, and you said that in the opening. Nothing leaked. I had no idea. Now, was I hoping that this would be here? Of course I was, and it wound up being true. Now, of course, I also suggested that if they showed this, maybe they show the V3, but that didn't happen. But I got to tell you, this is, yes, it's going to be expensive, but what it really does, especially when it comes to the Xbox UI, my biggest problem, Jamie, with these handhelds, and it's because I'm not a PC guy, I'm not a knucklehead. I understand what it takes, and I can download, can sideload different things and put ROMs. I can do all of that myself. I just don't want to do that because I'm not a PC guy. This ROG Ally Xbox seems like it's right up the alley. Now, granted, it's probably going to be pricey, but the fact that you can stay with this UI when you turn it on and it acts, looks, and plays like an Xbox sounds amazing. I cannot wait to get hands-on. Let's get your thoughts about it, the reveal, and some other expectations of what you're hoping this brings to the gaming space.
I've had some time to think about this, and Epic Store gives away free games all the time.
I have like 30 of them that I downloaded and never played.
Yeah, so as I was saying before the show went live, I played 2 games on PC, one of which can't come to console, and I wish it could. That's a Homeworld Remastered Collection. My God, I love that game. So I've claimed every free game I've seen on the Epic Store for like years now, and I have no intention of playing them. I have over 300 games on the Epic Store. I haven't paid a penny for any of those games. I've got Control. I've got the Fallout games. I've got dozens and dozens of AAA games. I've got Death Stranding, the original version, on the Epic Store, right?
Wow.
So, like, from a console centric point of view, right? This ROG handheld is not aimed at me, right? However, if you look at a lot of Xbox gamers that play first party titles such as Play Anywhere titles, and you play a Call of Duty, Halo, you maybe want to dabble in some Warcraft, this is going to be a device for you, because whereas I would like to see a native Xbox handheld where I could play my 360 games, my OG games, my Xbox One games, right? I think that will come. I think they're going to use this as a stepping point. I think they're going to learn from this. It's going to be a pricey console or a pricey handheld, because the way I see it is that, if people go into this ROG Xbox Ally handheld or whatever they want to call it and think it's going to be like $300, I have a bridge to sell them. Right? Because these handhelds are pricey, but the way I see it is that, PC gaming for the longest time, if you've wanted to game on the go, you've had really one option before the Steam Deck came out, and it was overpriced gaming laptops.
Yeah.
Right? A gaming laptop in the UK is costing in between 2.5 to 3 grand.
Jesus.
That's pounds, right? So we're talking $4,000, right? So the way I see it is that these new handhelds started with the Steam Deck. There's a bunch of different other ones now. If you're a PC gamer, you have a portable device to get now that isn't going to break the bank.
Right.
So the ROG Ally is one of those other things. My mate has an ROG Ally. He bloody loves the thing. Doesn't stop talking about the thing. And if you play a lot of Xbox games, a lot of Xbox Game Pass games, this is going to be an avenue for them. But another way I see it is, from Microsoft's point of view, is that it's kind of what happened about 25 years ago. When Microsoft first heard that the PlayStation 2 was going to get a DVD player built in, They basically crapped themselves and thought, oh my God, Sony's going to take over the living room. So they came out with the Xbox, right? Which had media features such as the DVD player and being able to rip your music onto the console and even use it in certain video games like WWE Raw 2 as entrance music. That was such a cool feature. So I think they're doing the same thing now, but with other vendors, because you have Steam OS, which is now going to be able to go to other different devices outside of the Steam Deck. And Microsoft doesn't want people downloading Steam OS on their console. That's why you have Microsoft trying to get this Xbox centric version of Windows be able to perform better for video games. So the way I see it is Xbox PC is the branding. Microsoft wants people to associate Xbox with PC as well as the consoles, because the console user base, they are console based. They don't really care that much. Maybe they'll dabble if a first party game is available or whatever. But for the most part, PC gamers, they're going to want to have the freedom to choose what they want to buy games on. That's why whenever a game is available on Epic Store, people lose their minds. So you're going to be able to use Steam, Epic, GOG, all that stuff, which is great. Microsoft wants gamers to associate their OS with gaming on PC, because Microsoft doesn't want anyone to use that bloody thing, Steam OS. So I think in the long run, this is going to benefit Microsoft when it comes to getting PC associated with Xbox and Xbox associated with PC. But I think that if you're a console player, I think you're going to get your fancy next gen console. You're going to get your native Xbox handheld next generation. So for me, I'm not necessarily interested in the ROG Xbox thing. Obviously, I will cover it, but it's not necessarily for me. I'm a console player. I think it's a really cool device. I like the design of it. I think it looks very comfortable. It's super powerful, and I think this is it. I think this thing is going to be about $800 around that. I actually just checked the price of the ROG Ally X, so not the 2 and not the fancy new one. It's $799 at the minute, right? £799. That's, I want to say that's about $1,100. So,
Wow.
So in the UK, I apologize, you're going to go bankrupt, but I think look, I think this device is really cool. I think it's exciting. I think that if you go back 6-7 years ago, and you'd ask who's in the handheld space outside of Nintendo, I would say no one. But now you have tons of different companies getting into it. You have Microsoft, which is going to make their own first-party hardware. You have PlayStation, which is rumored to make a new PlayStation handheld. So, I think if anything, this piece of hardware just proves how interesting gaming is at the minute. So while it isn't necessarily for me, and if Microsoft does want to send a review console out, I'll be happy to review it. But I think that if anything, it proves how interesting the gaming landscape is at the minute.
I think options are great. This is definitely a hardcore device, Jamie and Umbra. Is it going to be for everyone? No, it is not for you, as you said, and that's okay. It is for Ally Umbra, and it's definitely for me. Do I do a lot of on-the-go gaming? I do not. I very rarely travel, and when I do, I bring my Switch. Now I'll bring my Switch too. But if I have a ROG Ally Xbox, and I can download the games and to the hard drive, which I think the X version has a 1 terabyte drive. You put all your games there. You better play all your games on through Game Pass. If you want to take this thing, I'm sure there's going to be a dock for it.
Yeah,
you're going to be able to dock this to your TV. And what this does for me personally is, again, I don't know how you're going to move from this screen to Steam, to Good Old Games, to Epic. And then once you download those games from those different launchers, you go back to your Xbox screen, and just all of those games are just in your library. If that's how it's going to be, that's going to be great. And again, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Right now, I am currently not a Steam customer. I download games for free from Epic because they give them for free. I've never played any of them. I have a boatload of them. I have occasionally Steam has these ridiculous sales. And I keep using it as reference. It was true. I think I paid $8.99 for the entire Resident Evil series. Like, how do you not buy that?
Yeah.
I've never played any of them, but for $10, yeah, sign me
That's a
up.
W. Yeah.
Right. So again, this device is just the beginning, guys and chat. I really think that maybe it's not for everyone, but what this ultimately, I think what this really does clear up, Umbra and Jamie and chat, very simply, is that what you're seeing here in its infancy, right? This is the first attempt by Xbox to really bring the platform to PC and make it more accessible for guys like me. That next box that's coming out in 2027, and some people say fiscal 27, which is early or late 26. Again, tomatoes, we'll see. But if by some chance in the fiscal 26 that this console shows up, it is going to be exactly what we've all imagined it to be. It's going to be an Xbox. It's going to play all of your games, every one of them that you own, and it's going to allow you to play games from all of the different libraries. And I think that world that has been pitched with this handheld and imagined with the next generation hardware, again, this is not console war related conversation that we're having. I will not be buying a PlayStation 6. Why? Why won't? Am I console warring? No, I won't need to. I will. I'm telling you right now, I don't have it as proof of concept as of yet. And I wasn't a fly on the wall at Sony headquarters. But when Microsoft officially unveiled this, I'm telling you right now, Sony was like, we need to do something because we need to put our games. Any thoughts and theories? Again, this is my opinion about waiting and doing PlayStation first and then PC next and then maybe Switch later. I think all of that waiting gets thrown out the window, and you're going to see them make some pretty big decisions in the next 12 months to get those games day and date on PC and maybe other platforms because they're going to need to. Otherwise, they're going to get left behind. That's whether you believe me or you don't, that's up to you. That's my belief, and I'm sticking to it. But, gentlemen, great show. We're a pinch past 90 minutes. I don't want to hold anybody else up. I want to catch up on Super Chats, make sure I got everybody. And I do. I have everybody. Folks, thank you so much. We have 1,980 people watching live across Twitch, X, and, of course, YouTube. If you're not already subscribed, let's say, for instance, you're watching on X and you're like, who is this BoomStick knucklehead? If you enjoyed the conversation, I live stream Monday through Friday. I didn't live stream this Monday because I had no voice, and I'm starting to lose it again. So I'll be able to at least chill until tomorrow evening's primetime gaming at 7. But if you're not subscribed and you enjoyed the conversation, you enjoyed the guest with Paris Lilly, of course, thank you so much, Paris, for joining us. Consider subscribing. Click on it. Go to YouTube. Subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you know when I go live, which, of course, is Monday through Friday. And, of course, I also cover all breaking news as it happens because I'm retired and I can do that. But we'll start first with Jamie Moran. Brother, you have a show happening later this evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with yourself and Logan Meyer on a podcast called All Things Xbox, where I would imagine that the handheld and, of course, the fallout from the showcase are going to be talked about. Please sell the brand, brother. Where can people tune in? And more importantly, subscribe to your YouTube channel.
Yeah, thanks, Boom. It's always great doing this podcast with you guys. It was great to have Paris on the show as well. So yeah, my podcast is at 6 p.m. Eastern on the Elusive Gamer YouTube channel. All Things Xbox podcast. We're going to go over 100 games coming to Xbox.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So I've had to pay attention to a lot of things over this past weekend. Games that weren't even announced on any showcase. So it's going to be interesting. So yeah, over 100 games coming to Xbox, which we're going to go over every single one. We're going to go over the showcase in general. We're also going to talk about Summer Games Fest, the future game show stuff. It's going to be a jam-packed show, and also my impressions Final Fantasy 16 because I've put quite a bit of time into it now.
You got a
And-
code, man. That's awesome. That's you're right, brother. Square Enix, which I gave you a code. Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
man. That's
thanks.
big.
And I was actually surprised because Square Enix and myself haven't had the best relationship over the past several years. But now that these games are coming, things are changing, which is great. So we're going to go over the first few hours of the game then. I'm going to talk about it, every few weeks or whatever, or every week until I finish it. But yeah, so that's 6 p.m. Eastern on the Elusive Gamer YouTube channel. It's going to be fun.
Well, looking forward to that, brother. Can't wait to get your impressions on Final Fantasy 16. And, well, Ally Umbra, let's sell your brand, brother, because obviously you and Daniel McGee will be back Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the new episode of The Fix. And I would imagine that you guys are going to have a lot to talk about because, again, maybe the PlayStation show wasn't your bag. Maybe the Summer Game Show, which I thought was excellent, wasn't your bag. But you had to find something in this entire weekend of coverage of games that you liked. And, well, you should tune into Fix to hear Daniel McGee and, of course, Umbra talk about it. Umbra, sell the brand, brother. Where could they tune in? Subscribe to The Fix on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And more importantly, follow you on the social media.
Yes, y'all, and it don't stop. Okay, let me stop. Happy to be here with you guys again. Boom. I'm happy you all had a chance to experience all of that and meet great people like BT Maverick, Soil Tech, Nerds, and other legends.
Yeah.
Paris, K, everybody like that. And I know Web Dave was out there, and shout out to King, Lemon, all of these good people. And I am a bit jealous that you were next to the lovely Sarah Bond. I will say that. I know Soil Tech was cheesing next to her. He had so many images posted up.
Yeah, he did. Soil Tech took a solo picture with her. Yeah, she's a very welcoming person. I can tell you, she is so genuine and so down to earth. I mean, it's awesome. All of the VPs, man, they just,
I heard it.
It's crazy. You just walk up to them, shake their hand, tell them thanks, and they tell you thank you for being a fan and thank you for supporting the Xbox brand. It was awesome, man.
That's dope, man. I love that they haven't lost the spirit of still trying to keep with the community that way, because they don't have to come out there. They really don't. And so that's pretty dope. All that said, of course, you guys can find me Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way on social media. Thursday, as Boom pointed out, the Fix at 8 o'clock Eastern. I would love for you guys to subscribe. I put the link in the chat already. Come by and please subscribe. Yeah, we'll definitely be covering this. I'm also trying to actually pull like a Soil Tech and maybe Nerds if he would be able to jump on and get their experiences there as well to speak on that. And definitely we'll be covering a lot of the games, getting opinions of what the shows for all three shows really from everybody. And just yeah, I'm happy in general. I think it was like 142 games shown total from all three game shows. Like you can't see all of that and be like, you don't got nothing to play. Like, you got so much to play, you don't have the time to play all these games. Like, just let's just be real.
Yes,
so we're gonna have to be picky. We had a drought some years back. Like, we are over abundance now.
Holy shit.
And I mean, I cannot wait for next year. I already know next year's. I have to make my way out there. Boom. It's going to be crazy good. 25th anniversary. Those games are going to be shown. I cannot, I got to see Halo presented. I have to see all this and get a chance to meet some of you guys out there in the community. So, yeah, shout out to Paris for coming through. And, of course, shout out to you, Jamie, and Boom, for doing your thing always as host. And shout out to the chat. All love to you, everybody.
Well, thank you so much. And the holy S that I yelled out was because Ecstasies is reporting that in the last few hours, we have learned that Rare's new leadership could be taking charge of the new Banjo-Kazooie, according to a reputable member of VGC. And if you didn't know, Andy Robinson used to work with them. So if that's where it's coming from, I'm going to lose my S because, yes,
that's a W.
Freaking please. But okay, well, listen, folks, that's going to do it for us. That's going to do it for my voice. I'm going to go drink some cold water. Because otherwise I'm going to lose my voice. And if I don't have a voice, I can't do a podcast. That's going to be a really big problem. But thank you for all of the super chats, all the new channel memberships, all of the gifted memberships. Mrs. Boom and I do greatly appreciate the generosity. Thank you, fine folks, for tuning in and checking out the live stream. Again, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. We would greatly appreciate that. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's very important to me. Hopefully one day, ladies and gentlemen, be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids and would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.